waited until I recorded my normal video before I could actually come up with what I want as the intro, because I think what is happening right now, where you literally had the police kidnap someone, that someone being Sonam Wangchuk, literally a from a hunger strike that he started to literally question and to protest against the education policies of this country. Literally practically kidnapping him to take him to a hospital where um, where he is not allowed visitors, even his wife. Honestly, just really makes me question whether, what kind of country am I living in. And the one thing that I do want to start off by saying is that, you know, uh, being in a democracy means the ability to raise your voice against any injustice that is happening. And of course, one of the injustices, there are definitely a lot of different people on social media that are saying that this is not the first justice. Why are people waking up to this? I mean, granted that they also do have a very fair point, but at the same time, considering that this is something that is opening people's eyes, I think the best thing, honestly, the one thing that should happen is that the voice must be raised, that the voice needs that all of our collective voices do need to be raised, so that we can actually get some change happening. So please, do what you can to also raise awareness to all of these things that are happening in this country, so that people actually can raise their voice, people can actually question what is happening from um, you know the government. So with that said, I hope you do enjoy what I have to share for today. Hi everyone, welcome to Narain's Life with MS. This is Narain and it's time for Slowdown Saturday. And of course, considering it is Slowdown Saturday, I did slow it down. I slept, I think, close to 5 hours this afternoon. So definitely, I don't know what's going to happen right now. I'll hopefully try to get a few hours of shut-eye. But one thing that people usually question me on is whether whether I consider it productive to sleep for such a long time, especially in the afternoons on my weekends. So normally, one thing I do want to say is that I don't really have a lot of pressing matters on weekends, right? I think that's just the just the privilege that I have, that I don't have a lot of things that generally tend to happen with me. But apart from that, generally on weekdays I don't end up sleeping a lot. So when it comes to the weekend, usually the one thing I definitely do want to do is catch up on my sleep. And considering that, regardless of which day it is in the week, I usually fall asleep around the same time. So normally, the falling asleep is not the difficult part. It's usually just making sure that I have enough sleep. Now, is it probably the healthiest thing that I don't sleep during the weekdays and then I just try to make it up in the weekends? Probably not. But is it something that allows me to remain sane. I would say that, yeah, it definitely has its positives and negatives. So, as a result, I think that this is a very important thing to do, that you should keep your health at the top of your your health should always come as you know your number one priority. And obviously, when um, uh, when you know when there are certain things that are not allowing you to um, you know keep to the best of your health, you should at least try to find ways to supplement them or complement them, right? I think supplement's the better word. uh, and just to ensure that you are getting the right amount of sleep, uh, doing the right amount of things, right? And of course, another thing I constantly get asked is, how do I you know ensure that I don't feel like the weekend has gone away just because I was sleeping throughout the weekend? Well, usually sleeping is part of my main um, agenda for the weekend. But apart from that, usually I still have podcasts or something or the other playing in the background while I sleep, so that even when I wake up, there is something that I am listening to. So there is the ability to literally start active listening if I do wake up anytime during my nap. So I'm honestly, uh, doing something productive, right? Be it sleeping or listening to something, maybe listening to an audiobook, listening to a podcast, doing something that is relatively constructive. And generally, one of the great things with books is, if you are you don't have to listen to something that is very enigmatic, something that is very complicated, so that you can actually, especially when this is especially true of when you're listening to audiobooks, that you can pretty much fall in tune to what is maybe happening during that time, right? During that space in the audiobook. So at the very least, you actually have an understanding of where you are at. And in a way, you also know how long you've slept as a result of how much time has passed between what you last remember of whatever you were listening to and whatever you're listening to right now. So that is some of the ways that I like to slow down my Saturdays, and also make sure that my Saturdays are well spent, um, even if it's just while I if it's even if it's just sleeping, right? So of course, with all of that said, I do hope you're having a great weekend. I do hope your Saturday is going very well, and that you are taking aside some time to get the rest that you probably do need from this week. So with all of that said, this is Nareen's Life with MS. My name is Nareen, and of course, with all of that said, I do want to wish you a good night, sweet dreams, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.